Have you ever felt the Monday morning blues? I know I have, and I want to help myself and you get unstuck, get out of that Monday morning funk, so to speak, and get back in the game. So I'm excited you're here. Hello and welcome. In case we've met before, my name is Katrin from bloomwithkatrin.com, and I'm coming live to you today from the beautiful town of Linz over here in Austria. Whether you're joining me live or later on the replay, please don't be shy. Say hi. Let me know where you're tuning in from so I can circle back around and say hi back to you. I'm looking forward to do that. And I'm here because I love helping networkers like yourself build an active dream team in the online space, leveraging modern social media strategies and doing all of that team building and dream building, so to speak, with confidence, savvy, and soul. And I can teach you all the most latest awesome strategies and techniques and tactics as well, but it's all really no good when up here we're self-sabotaging ourselves. Okay, let me know whether you can relate. Push the heart button if that's ever been you, and also if you've ever felt that Monday morning feeling, maybe not necessarily always on a Monday, but maybe also feeling stuck, feeling like it's kind of hard getting back in the game. If that's where you're at, let me know by tapping on the heart button as well, so I know that this is for you. Okay, so it's time to get unstuck, because if you really want to make a change in your life, you really have to, in a sense, get over yourself. But I would love for you to do this with my 3 tips, not against yourself, not working against things, but working with yourself. Okay, so maybe you're not aware, but I have a therapist background. I'm a dance therapist, and one thing, and that's my tip number 1, is when you feel stuck, this is a sign, okay, for you to maybe calm down a little, okay, to maybe take a step back. Okay, and this might be contrary to what you were expecting. Let me know, right? Because you might have, okay, well, yeah, let's get into the game, right? And for me, it's proven to be most effective to actually take a step back and reconnect with myself, reconnect with my purpose. In my case, it's always, getting outside in nature. I like to do that every morning as well, right? Do that a little bit every day, so you don't get stuck don't get too stuck. So it's really like an effort to get out of it. But so really do something that's going to help you reconnect with yourself, with your purpose. I'm not necessarily talking about the why that makes you cry. If that helps you, please go ahead. But I don't want you crying about your why, but I want you to reconnect with your purpose, with the people you want to help and what they are struggling with, and what you might do, especially on social also, to help them move forward. Okay, so let me know whether this makes sense. So this is my tip number 1. Spend some time, okay, and spend as much time as you need, but not more. Okay, and maybe it's 5 minutes every day, maybe it's an hour after a long week, maybe it's a day after a longer period of being stuck and not really being in the game. Okay, take as much time as you have to, but not more. Promise? Cool. Okay, spend some time reconnecting with yourself and with your purpose. Step number 2, we're getting into the game here. Okay, take a look at your morning routine. Maybe you've heard this before. Make your bed in the morning. I know this used to be such a huge thing in our family, right? My granny and my mom always wanted me to make my bed in the morning. And for me, when I was like 13, 14 years old, I stopped doing it because I felt like this is part of my resistance against them. So let me know whether you can relate. And for me, it took actually a Navy general to teach me about the importance of making your bed in the morning, because here it is. It is something that you will have accomplished after your day is done. The last thing that you feel is when, every evening, isn't it, is laying down in our bed. Now, how does it feel? How does it make you feel, to know that that's the one thing that you've accomplished? Even if the entire day is gone, out the window, and things have come up and you didn't get your to-do list done, You weren't in the game, right? You were busy doing other things, but that's the one thing that you managed to get done. So that's part of my morning routine now. Okay, I've maybe matured a little as well since those days when I was resisting against everything my mum and my granny would tell me to do. But I think it's just human nature, isn't it? Let me know what's your favorite way of resisting your parents. I will be curious to know what you did, but this is one of mine. Okay, but also take a look at your morning routine in general. I am oftentimes on my phone, but I make it an effort to not reach for my phone the first hour in the morning after getting up. Okay, when I do, it's like there's hundreds of messages, and I love everybody, you know, who sends me messages, and I really love helping other people. But what it does is, when I look at it right away first thing in the morning, is it takes me away from myself before I was able to fill my cup for the day, if that makes sense. Okay, so try it, play with it, what works for you. But for me, it's important to not have my phone with me for the first hour of the day. I'll do my gratitude, okay, before my feet hit the ground. I'll tell myself 3 things I'm grateful for on this day, and that's not going to be the same thing every single day, so it like keeps its power, if that makes sense. Okay, I'll open my window if I can. I'll step outside first thing in the morning, breathe in the fresh morning air. I'll drink my huge glass of water, maybe with a spot of blue in it. Okay, if you've been following me on social for a while. I'll move, I'll exercise, do some yoga, do some dancing, whatever is possible for me. I'll journal, and as I go through these things, you know, ideas might pop into my mind, what I want to do. Also, you know, when I'm reconnecting in step number 1, there might also ideas come to my mind. I always have a paper and a pen with me. It's always like in my back pocket, in my jeans, or whichever I'm wearing, right? So I can jot these ideas down, so they're not gone by the time I sit down to do my to-do list. Okay, so I hope this makes sense, and please remember, make your bed. Okay, let me know whether this makes sense so far. So here's step number 3, to really get back into the game. Okay, say maybe you're overwhelmed, and by the way, if that's where you're at, social media overwhelm is getting more and more common. If that's where you're at, I've put together an awesome checklist that can definitely help you out of that funk. If that's what you want, drop checklist down below, and I'm happy to send it over to you. Okay, but here's the thing, say you're stuck and you haven't been in the game for a while, right? And now you've done your morning routine, and you've got an awesome long to-do list, awesome ideas to put into practice. Now, so we don't get overwhelmed now with, okay, I want to get back in the game, right? Let's do everything on one day. Please don't. Okay, I know it can be hard because I have plenty of ideas of all the things I want to put into practice, and then I don't get around to them, and then I'm frustrated and overwhelmed. What am I going to do tomorrow? Here's the thing. Choose one thing. Hey Tammy, lovely to see you on live. How are you going today, my friend? So choose one thing to focus on for that day, right? If you want to plan out your week, go ahead and choose 3 things that will really move your business forward, or yourself forward towards the project that you want to accomplish, and choose 3 steps you're going to focus on for this week. And every evening before my head hits the pillow, right, in my made bed, I sit down and I write down the one thing, an income producing activity. Maybe you've heard this term before, right? And I put that into my calendar. I schedule it. These are the 20 minutes. These are the 30 minutes. This is the hour tomorrow that I'm going to be spending on my one focus income producing activity. And after that's done, that's the first thing I do after my morning routine. I have it done, hopefully even before my family wakes up. Okay, so it's done. And then I go to my to-do list and I do all the other things. Okay, does this make sense so far? Let me know. Okay, and what I also like to do is I actually like to write it out. I'm a very digital person, okay, and I love Trello and everything, and on Google Calendars. But this thing, I actually write it off in the evening on a sheet of paper. And what I do is I'll make a little box here, so when I'm done, I can actually tick it off. I don't like to cross it out, because somehow for me that energetically feels like it's like devaluating something, like it wasn't that important. I'm just crossing it off. I'm ticking it off. That makes it visible, and I can still see really in more or less clear writing, depending on how late the hour is at the time when I schedule this, but I have it on my list and I'll tick it off. And it makes me feel good at night, in the evening, right? When I go back to my list, and it might be my to-do list, okay? But on the very top is my number one thing I need to accomplish on that day. And I'll put a box beside it and I'll tick it off, okay? And when I come back to this list in the evening, I can still see it there. I've done that. That was my number one priority and I made it happen. That's awesome. Just like making my bed, right? And I'll do the next, the same thing for the next day in the evening as well. Yeah, Tammy, you like the idea of ticking it off? I think it's just so powerful. Isn't it crazy? So easy. But when I cross things off my list, it doesn't give me that much a sense of accomplishment as ticking it off. So you're more than welcome, okay? And then after ticking it off, reward yourself with doing something that gives you joy. Maybe it's listening to some music. Maybe it's, I don't know, having a little bit of chocolate, whatever it might be for you, okay? Reward yourself after doing the number one top priority activity on that day, okay? It's just to, it's not like, oh yeah, I've done that now, let's move to the next thing, but I'm acknowledging this. I've done this, I've achieved this, and that's a good thing, and that's moving myself forward, even if it might feel like a baby step. Please don't ever devalue those, because baby steps truly take us wherever we want to go, right? Without our baby steps, none of us would be here right now. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope this was valuable. Just going through them real quick. My 3 tips to get unstuck and back in the game is: number 1, spend some time reconnecting with yourself and your purpose. Number 2, take a look and have a check-in with your morning routine and make sure that it's really giving you the peace and the drive to get going and make your bed, okay? Remember that one. And number 3 is focus on one thing every day. Do that and do it joyfully and acknowledge what you've accomplished. So thank you so much for joining me. It's time for you now to get going and do the thing that's going to move your business forward. Thanks so much for joining me, and I'm looking forward to seeing you again on the next episode. Thank you. All the best.